we'll jump into it. We'll start with TJ, man. Come on, give us the play-by-play of the weekend. First of all, you got free tickets, so that was cool. I'll let you start from there. Like I said before the show start, this is anything you want to talk about it kind of show.
Man, so I was just there, just seeing everything it had to offer. Obviously, I was just waiting for the Superbike race, and wanted to see, the three races that was going to happen during the weekend.
Hmm.
Um, Man, like, what can I say? They put it down like Bobby, the three top runners, Bobby, um, Cam Bobier, and Josh Herring. So they really actually put in a fight this whole weekend. All three of them battling throughout all three races. So it was
Right.
really good to see watching at different turns and just their preparation stuff like that. So
And
it was
and
really nice.
and like, what was the atmosphere like? Just getting around the paddock and stuff, getting access to people. What was that like?
I mean, it was busy. I mean, everyone's moving each direction, like on scooters, on bicycles, whatever you want to call it, that has two wheels. People walking, cars driving, people wheeling tires. It was just a busy moment. Demo rides coming in and out. So, I mean, if he wasn't on one of the stands watching the races, you pretty much gonna miss everything. But there's a lot of entertainment, a lot of good food, music, a lot of good vendors, free stuff, and there's some good atmosphere. There's a lot of kids there as well, so some kid friendly stuff. So
All right, that's what's up. Reese, man, I'll let you tell it, man. So, it didn't go exactly how you guys wanted it to go. It's unfortunate. Is in a situation like that. I mean, does the rider feel it a little bit more than the team?
I mean, we both feel it. The rider feels it. He really feels it. I mean, he's down. So I mean, but we're still all high spirits, and at this time, definitely before I even forget, I definitely want to give a big congrats to Yamaha for taking the manufacturer title for 2025. A lot of people don't know that. A big shout out to Bobby. Bobby rode his behind off this year, and like I said, it was an overall successful year for Bobby. A lot of people had counted us out. They didn't think we would be there, but we were actually there, and we were actually one hand on the trophy. So that's right there shows that we're still here, we're still competitive, and definitely give a big shout out to Richard and my whole team, the attack team. Um, so what happened? What people don't see, and I mean, people that were there to kind of see that was standing around the pit, but to actually get Bobby's bike back up and running after race too, to pretty much give him a whole brand new bike. I mean, within that amount of time, and that was short of amazing. That team is top notch, and I can't. I love them guys, and I wouldn't ask for a better team or a different team without them. So definitely give a big thanks and a big, salute to those guys. But overall, I think Bobby feels it. We all feel it. I felt it coming home today. In the airport. So, but like I said, we're all have high hopes, and we're getting ready for a World Superbike. You're here for Portimao for Estoril.
Yeah,
man,
we'll talk about that a little bit because yeah, I mean, it's the hardest thing I think after losing a championship is that like directly after when you just think about it, but as time passes and like you mentioned, you think about the whole season. um it was a success story overall. The results doesn't dictate, the work put in and that you guys have done for the whole season and stuff like that. And to, for a guy to be on a bike for a first year to do something, that impressive, it's the likes of what, Mark did last year going to Grassini, and being able to, do what he did. So, no,
yeah.
definitely.
Uh,
So, um, do you got
See,
now you're going to Port of Mayo, so let's talk a little bit
Hold
about
on.
that. Is go ahead.
Well, I was just continuing the conversation. I was going to talk about Bobby, but I'll wait.
No, well, go ahead because we're going to talk about Portimao and see if the is it the whole crew that's going, which is it,
Yeah,
Bobby and
yeah.
the crew chief.
Well,
I mean, the whole crew's going. I mean, of course, only certain members of the crew are going to work because we don't need all the crew to work for just one rider.
Right.
But I mean, we'll all be there in support and have a good time as a whole family.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Go ahead, TJ.
well, yeah. No, I was going to chime in on the Tech Yamaha. So definitely want to give congrats to the Yamaha team because they definitely still a stepping stone. They put in the work, and like you said, they got the title. It was good meeting Reese there as well in person and Lewis, and just seeing the environment. They're very professional, very respectful. But I just know that just what Bobby did this year is just amazing, and he's so humble. And I just know just back in his head is just like he has a lot on the table and he can't fuck up. And it was just probably just so much stress on him, and just to try to hold the points because like he did win race one, he got that out the way. But race two, like I was sitting, I don't remember the turn number, but the little chicane, I think it's like turn 6 or 7. Um, there was a point where Josh Ham would always like kind of let off the gas a little bit to like gain momentum or really push, and Bobby's tire rubbed his at one point, and then later down the race, it's the same corners where Bobby crashed out.
Right, right. Yeah, I
And
think I think Heron uses a lower gear than the Yamaha
yeah,
in that turn is what I heard. But
yeah, and then that's when Bobby made his little gestures and stuff like that, and then it was wide open from there. So that race three was pretty big, and it was just unfortunate just to see Bobby, lose it after having the lead.
yeah,
I think it was back and forth between the three, but just still want to say congrats to the Yamaha team because that was a hard fight, and it's just disappointing. I know it's a sour taste going home, but definitely was
yeah.
rooting for Bobby.
And I agree with that. Congrats for real, because you guys did win, even though you didn't get the final piece. Because it's been an amazing year, and I know none of you guys are going to lose sight of that because you guys have been there before. So and you'll be there again. So and I
We
think
appreciate it.
I think Bobby's going to learn a lot from this and be even stronger next year. So I'm looking forward to next season for sure. Lewis, man, you've been in and out. Here's your chance to talk about Motor America and your thoughts of the overall weekend.
Uh-oh.
The likes, the dislike. All the fan
Oh
action that you're
God.
getting. We might change your last name now.
No, no, no. Yeah. Let me start by saying thanks to everybody that came up and said hi, that kind of knew us from the pod. I was surprised, man. I was surprised by how many people just randomly would shout out like, "Hey, are you Luis Ortega?" or "Hey, are you the numbers guy?" And it kind of caught me off guard because it's the first time that I had somebody, people notice me and from the pod, and all the feedback was great. All the feedback was super positive. They like what we talk about. They like when we expand, and they like when we talk about racing, but they like when we expand a little bit and talk about other things outside of racing, but motorcycle related. So it was good. It was just good to get feedback firsthand. I mean, I get a lot of emails and I get a lot of messages on Instagram. But when you see the fans in person and you get to talk to them, and they know that, hey, you know what, they do know what they're talking about. Like we're all invested in what we're saying. We're all invested in the sport. We enjoy it. We like it. The good, the bad, the ugly. We're there for it. So I want to say thank you to that. As far as the weekend, uh, a great weekend as far as the turnout, the event itself. Reese can tell you there were more people there on Saturday than I've ever seen there on Saturday. I think there were more people there on Sunday than I've ever seen on a Sunday. I mean, they were parking cars almost all the way to the lightning track, which is, for those of you that know the track layout, that's the other side of the track. So people were walking from lightning to thunderbolt, or if you have to walk that, I mean, Reese, what do you think, man? That's like a mile and a half walk from
Yeah,
one track
that's
to
a
the
good
other.
walk. That's a
That's
good
it.
walk, man.
Yeah.
You get your steps in that day.
Boom.
So for the event, for everything, it was great. As far as the happenings within the weekend, I was super happy for the results on Friday. I wasn't surprised. The only thing that surprised me was, Heron obviously didn't have pace, and it showed. He showed some pace in the very first practice, but after that, when everybody's lap times really started to drop, there's a reason why Heron started in seventh place. It wasn't set up, and it wasn't anything else. Like, he didn't have pace. He had great launches, and he's got a bike that has a lot of grunt, and everybody knows that. And he knows how to take advantages of the weaknesses and the strengths of that bike. So he was able to get past, the guys in sixth, fifth, and fourth, and quickly get himself into the top 3 or 4 in every race. But towards the end of uh, every race, you saw that his pace was dropping. And this is why he had the tactic he had. And, some people might not like it. Some people might like it. Some people say it's racecraft. He's a crafty racer, this and that. He intentionally was slowing the traffic down for multiple reasons. One, because he knew at the end of the race he didn't have the pace to go with somebody if they got in front of him and really started to put some time down. We saw that in race one. Bobby was able to get out to a 4-second lead. 2 of those seconds were a fucking track marker in the back that doesn't know how to read a blue flag, which should get black flagged and not allowed on a MotoAmerica track ever again, because this is a championship racing weekend. And you got some guy that's lapping around 8.5, 9 seconds slower than the guys at the front, and he doesn't know how a blue flag works. Bro, that's a black flag. Get off my track. Never come here again. Disqualification. In the second race, Josh did what Josh needed to do. Again, like it or dislike it, he jumped in front and he tried to intentionally slow the pace down because he understands his only opportunity to win is if Bobby and Cameron have an incident. He was too far out of the points at that side. So the only thing he could do is try to slow the pace down and hope that either those guys start battling with each other or somebody else that has nothing to do with it starts battling with them. They start to try to do something risky to get around them and possibly crash to give him, again, that glimmer of hope that he might still be able to win. Hate it or love it, it's a race tactic. It is what it is. And, several of the people had said that, he takes a different line. He tends to slow mid corner because he uses a different gear because he's trying to use the grunt to get out of the corners. But, if you're intentionally slowing the pace, you're also putting people at risk. Because if 5 other guys are coming through the same corner at a specific pace and they're expecting you to be on the gas as a professional at the apex, and you're still neutral throttle or lower than neutral throttle at the apex and after the apex because you're trying to fuck up everybody else's corner speed because you don't have corner speed. Again, it's a tactic, but it's a shitty tactic.
So we should
And he
we
can,
should kick we should kick a Noni out of World Superbike.
well, I mean, again, this is a tactic. I'm not saying that it's illegal or anything else. It's a shitty tactic, but it's a tactic. And it's the only tactic that he had because, again, he needed both Cameron and Bobby to crash for him to have any chance to retain his title because he was out of it. He was well out of it. And unfortunately, Bobby raced the way Bobby races all year. Bobby goes out there and I hate to say it, man, he really is a win it or bin it guy. Like, I can't slow down. I can't just settle for second or third, even when he should settle for second or third, because that's not the way he is. Anybody that knows Bobby, like, I got to do my pace. I got to do my corners. I got to do my apexes the way that I do them. This is what got him here. This type of riding got him to this point, this time of the year. And this ain't the time to try to change the way he rides, man. And everybody online, by the way, all the previous Superbike champions online, the thousands, I didn't realize there were so many goddamn Superbike champions in the US. Fuck. The thousands of Superbike champions that are going online and giving Bobby advice on how to ride.
Yeah.
I'm sure Bobby's going to listen to it because, I mean, with all the titles you fuckers have and all the super bikes that you guys have ridden at the top level, I mean, shit. I mean, Bobby only owns the track record at 2 or 3 tracks. I guess these other 1,000 guys own the track records everywhere else. Cause it's like, holy shit, man. And, again, bro, social media is toxic. We know that. We know how people get manipulated very easily.
Right.
People are
Right.
putting up, oh, here's Josh's track data. It'll easily show you what he was doing. Man, 90% of these guys can't even read a menu at fucking Cheesecake Factory. You think they know what track data looks like? I could put a EKG up there and be like, this is track data. They have no clue.
So is I mean, I think that type of criticism, because I see it as well, and you want to expand on that a little bit, because as a writer it's hard not to see that stuff on your feed and all those comments and stuff like that, and you're absolutely right on just the facts being the numbers guy, right? But there's still people that want to come out and give advice and say all these things, and I guess I'll push this to Reese. I mean, how do your other writers have coped with that in the past? And I mean, you guys only been with Bobby for 1 year, and this is still all brand new. Um, you know, how do you guys? You just become a tighter family? How do you guys deal with that?
I mean, honestly, we just kind of ignore it. You just kind of brush it to the side. I mean, because everyone's going to have their opinions, everyone's going to have their says. I mean, I've had people hit me and say, "Oh, BMW's won this, top this, that." I'm like, where? I've had people tell me certain about factory teams over in World Superbike. I've had people tell me, I've seen people say Bobby choked or this and that. I'm like, really? Like, unless you want to speak on it and you want to talk about it, and it's like there's no point, because as my mom always told me when growing up, ignorance is bliss. And it's like people they're going to say what they want to say, and it's no disrespect to them. That's just what they want to say. But it's like Lewis just said, the social media nowadays is all toxic. It's just like, unfortunately, I go back as to when I first started riding. It's like the Suzuki, for sorry, Louis, but it's that one person said the Suzuki's best, and guess what? It just followed down the line, and Suzuki's the greatest thing walking on God's given earth, and now everybody's like, oh, Suzuki this, Suzuki that, and I'm like, okay, cool, but they're missing now. It's a Ducati thing, and it's one person will make like a trend, and it goes from there, and it's just a snowball effect. And people will sit there and say, "Oh, there weren't that many fans at MotoAmerica, or MotoAmerica's fallen." I'm like Lewis said, there was. We looked. I talked to one of the MotoAmerica reps and the Jersey reps, and it was record-breaking numbers for New Jersey's round. They had more fans in Jersey than they've ever had on their weekend.
It's all because
It
of Big
was.
Urban Cool.
It, 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 it's because they knew we were coming, bro. They heard on the pod we were gonna be there, and they're like, "Yo, let's buy some tickets."
So I
But
mean, it's that.
all joking aside, this is what we want. As people who want to be part of the racing community, the business side of things. That's what we want. As a fan side, that's what we want as well. To hear that, Jersey had record breaking numbers, and hopefully that carries over into Daytona in the next March and so forth into next year. That's kind of what we want. I mean, obviously we get more people talking with the AI edited data and stuff like that, but with more reach, I think we're gonna get that negativity, right?
Oh, of course, you're gonna always get the negativity. Even like Lewis said, I mean, people can't read data. I mean, hell, be honest, I've been there now 11 years, and I'm looking at the data like this shit look like spaghetti. It look like
And,
squiggly lines, and I'm trying to get them to like, all right, so that's the tire temp. Okay, so I'm like, I gotta like be taught, and I'm like, this is crazy. So for someone to sit
Yeah.
there and say, oh yeah, I can see it, I'm like, nah, you can't.
and
No
again,
doubt.
anybody can take a screen. See, the problem with the internet is even 90% of the facts are fake. I could take a screenshot from data from another guy and put it on there and be like, "Here's this data." Like, there's no way to equate it. The only people that know what was going on that track were the guys on the track. And the feedback from the guys on the track was that was the feedback, that they felt that the pace was being slowed intentionally. And you can see on the video in race one, halfway through the race, there was one bike that was sliding like more than any other bike, and it was sliding at the same 3 or 4 or 5 points, and that was a Ducati. And in the second
It,
race, they slowed the pace down significantly to try to save tire because they couldn't seem to manage the tire. And then in the last race, what happened when Bobby and Cameron got away in front? A certain Ducati started dropping like a fucking stone because they didn't have the pace. So much so they got passed by Suzuki. Yeah, baby, Suzuki, number one, baby, coming back.
Right. Right.
listen, I could say this. This is what I can say, and I'll it will contest to what Lewis just said. When the certain person got out front, the pace was at the low and it was at the mid 20s. It was a 20.3, a 20.5. That was the pace. When the other got out front, we were at the pace was at a 21.7 to a 22.3.
Wow.
Yep.
So yeah. So now you move it. You guys are going over to go ahead, Lewis.
No, and just one last thing, and then Jersey is for anybody who's written it, it's a very hard track to pass. There's only a couple of clean passing places, and if you can get the grunt of your bike to block somebody into turn one, it becomes a single lane track until you get to turn five. And you could do the kamikaze on the inside and try to make the turn of turn five. Then there's no other passing realistically, unless there's a mistake, until turn one again. So, you can block people at turn five and outmotor people to turn one and then park it in turn one. You're not going to really get past again to five. So you kill somebody's drive coming out of turn three. They can't really get a drive to pass you at turn five. And then you got the grunt again at turn one. So now it becomes this kind of like slinky effect where every time you think you got room, the room is gone. And every time it starts to stretch, it collapses again. And this is why you saw in the third race and in the first race, when other riders got in front of that rider, they were able to set their pace, and that rider couldn't. We saw it in race one, and we saw the same exact thing in race three. His tactic is tactic. I understand why it is, and to be honest with you, in my position, in the same position, I would be doing the same shit because I'm trying to win at all costs. Short of causing somebody to crash, I'm trying to win at all costs. So, like it or hate it, it is a tactic and you got to accept it. Um, but, at least now we know that, Jersey got to benefit and MotoAmerica got to benefit from one, the baggers were there. And two, the most important three races of the season happened in the last 2 days of the season. And I think that's why so many people showed up to Jersey is there were stakes. There was a reason to go there. It wasn't
Right.
raining for once, thank God. So all these factors put together, this is why we had a great turnout. We had a great event, and even though it didn't turn out the way everybody maybe had hoped for, at the end of the day, we still got a great champion because Cameron Beaubier, his story is important too, man. Cameron Beaubier has had a rough time over the last five,
Right.
6 years, man. He went to Moto 2 and he struggled. He stayed there probably way longer than he should have, thinking that the team would be able to come around and give him a bike that he can compete with. And then he comes back and he gets on the BMW and the bike is not there. Everybody thinks, oh, the BMW is great. There's one guy that's consistently fast on a BMW and he's an alien, dude.
No,
How many
I
other people have raced the BMW and struggled? Scott Redding couldn't make it work. All these other guys couldn't make it work. There's one dude that's been able to win on the BMW
besides Top Rock.
besides Top Rack, yeah. And now Cameron, even he'll tell you the bike's not very easy to ride, but he finds a way to ride it. And I'm super happy for that guy, man. He's had concussions, he's had injuries. Like he almost concussed himself out of the sport. So
Right.
as much as I
Cracked heels.
rooted for Bobby, yeah, crack, dude, this guy's been through it. So as much as I rooted for Bobby, once we saw that Bobby wasn't going to get it, and I saw who was in second place, I was like, you know what, man, if it's destined for him to get this title, then let him get this title because this guy's been through the ringer, man, and he's a super deserving guy.
Yeah, I
So
agree. So and next year we're going to have two BMWs in World Super. I mean,
I
MotoAmerica.
I think it's going to be three.
Oh wow,
I hear
three.
it's going to be
Okay,
three BMWs, maybe four. Depends because Tyler's Racing is a weird anomaly of a company. Every year they're going out of business.
right.
Like
Yeah, well,
every year, the
Yeah.
every seriously,
every year new
Reese, you
company
know,
starts.
every year the main sponsor behind Tyler's Racing has to decide whether or not they're going to go racing again next year.
Right.
You know, like Cameron Bobier next year might not even be on a BMW because that team might not be there. If the team finds funding, they might come back.
I think we might have lost Lewis
But
there.
Orange Cat is definitely going to go racing. Minimum, they're going to have two BMWs, but they might even bring a third BMW because they're trying to get a really, really strong team together. From what I talked to them a little bit this weekend, I mean, they're planning on having four riders. I don't know where these
Right.
four riders are going, dude,
Yeah.
but they're planning on having four riders.
Right. Right.
We're going to have another R1. You know,
Matt,
maybe we'll
Matt
have
Soch,
something else. Yeah.
I was about to say
Yeah.
Schultz announcement, right?
Yep.
Jack, they're going racing superbikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's another one that won the championship. I mean, I don't remember what the points were with Matthew and PJ, but I mean, getting a flat tire in race one seems like that he put him out of the points. I mean, that's also another strange way to
Done.
lose the championship. What are your
Brand
thoughts
new
on that?
Dunlop straight from Japan,
Yeah.
baby.
What are your thoughts on that,
Old
TJ?
tires, huh?
You were there to see it, man. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man, that race was happened to be a red flag, so it was kind of interesting. I don't know if there was someone else crashed or caused it, or if it's because PJ had a flat tire. But it was just a strange situation. But yeah, it's weird that he was just the only one to get a flat.
No,
But
no,
th- th-
there was a
th-
blowout in practice.
oh, I
It was
must have
two
missed that
blowouts.
one. Yeah.
Two
Yeah,
blowouts.
there
For who? Like
super sport.
yeah, what's going on over there?
So
But
they were using the new Japanese made Dunlop tires,
Oh, that's
oh
not a good
man,
and
look.
they had to pull some. And Reese, you could probably talk about this a little more than me, but from what I understand, they looked at a specific lot number and had to pull all of them off the trailer to not give them to anybody else because those tires were failing.
Well, they
Oh,
said
What?
they were failing because they went to a lower pressure. That's what they said. They went to an 18 pounds or something like that, and that's what the issue were. So they didn't. They shortened the race to allow the tires to last. That
Guys,
was
straight
the issue.
tires.
uh,
so is Blake Davis one of the forefront for the championship next year? Now that PJ is moving up, is Cam moving up as well, or is it just Schultz and PJ moving up to Superbike next year?
Just show some PJ.
So, what do you
Uh,
thought? Go ahead.
but I don't know what Cam's doing because there's some rumors that there's some might be some additional changes in the paddock. I don't like to speak out of turn, but there's a company that's not 100% sure if they're going to be able to be back in the paddock or they're looking for new funding now. I think they'll be able to find it, but more than likely Cam P is going to end up in Super Sport and it'll be pretty much Blake Davis, Cam P, Scott, and
Bobby.
Demario. Like I'm gonna give Demario
Wow.
a big boost, bro.
Okay.
That kid's the truth, and Ray Hall did a great job. He's an amazing pickup, man. You guys have no idea the talent because most people only know him from the last couple of seasons here.
Mm-hmm.
But I have his resume from when he was racing in Italy, man. And if it wasn't for the fact that his father got a job here in the U.S., that kid would probably be a Moto 3 right now.
Wow. All right. That's going to be a cool lineup for next year for the front runner for sure. I'm pretty sure there might be a couple of others in there, but let's move over to MotoGP and then we'll bounce around to
uh,
World Superbike.
uh,
All right. Go ahead.
sorry, Gracie. Sorry, just before we move over, I definitely want to congratulate our home New England on Nathan Betancourt for actually getting a podium on Sunday. a third place. So it was super exciting to see another person that I know or, be on the track with. So I want to congratulate the Bancourt family for getting on the podium and
Right.
allowing us to get the tickets as well. So it was
Right.
cool to see that.
No doubt. And Nate and then Mike, man, it's time to come on the show and tell a story. Let's make it happen. But that was dope to see Nathan get on the podium because like
Yes.
I remember him as a little lad on a kick scooter kicking around the paddock, while dad was racing and dad stopped racing so he can put time into getting Nathan to where he's at and to see them, I believe 2 years in and to get on a podium. That's huge. And the kid, like he said, he was just 12 earlier this year. So,
I mean,
So,
I I'll give you one more little inside scoop from the day that I was at today. So today I was at the Aprilia track day at NJMP. They have the track day right after MotoAmerica's event every year here.
yeah.
And a lot of the kids from the Twins Cup stayed to ride. And Alessandro DeMario went out on an RSV4 stock bike with street Pirelli tires running 128s, bro.
Wow. That kid's
Stock
gonna be.
bike that just a demo bike.
Jay, don't
nice.
break this. Let's bring it back in one piece.
Well, I
Yeah,
give
they're
you
pretty.
another. I give you another insight too to what Lewis said. I guess somebody was out there doing a track day with him, and he was on a. I think he was on a super bike, and Mario
Yeah,
pulled away from him like he was standing still. So for
Wow.
all those guys out there talking, oh, the super bike and trying to give it genius, there's a kid out there ready to bust you behind on a
yeah,
stock
man.
400.
Okay, Blake Davis, and I'm gonna tell you right now, Blake Davis and Alessandro DeMario are really the young forerunners for being that next generation of top racers when they get to that point, when they get that maturity and they get on big
Right.
bikes.
Yep.
They're gonna hurt a lot of feelings, man.
Yeah, it's a trend that's been coming. I mean, for me, just the last 10 years, seeing these young kids come up, and you see the progressions of the younger ones where they're at now in the sport and stuff like that. So, motorcycle racing in the U.S. is going in the right direction. So, it's definitely exciting, and hopefully more heads will be going to World Superbike or even more in the MotoGP, Moto2 side of things as well. So that way, you got more U.S. riders filling up the international stage.